member for Denry, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Oh, what a long day. This day started yesterday. And I'm very thankful that we have arrived at this juncture. First of all, Mr. Speaker, let me do the first order of business. Let me commend my colleagues, and I want to thank them. I want to thank my colleagues, and I do this on behalf of the young people of St. Lucia. Colleagues, thank you. Now, I do that because this is unprecedented. What is happening in this house today is unprecedented. And the significance of that, Mr. Speaker, and I want you to just imagine for a little while that each constituency representative on the government side, each parliamentarian, okay, especially those who won the seats. Taiwan made a promise a long time ago. And as government changed, it continued that $1 million would be provided for each of the constituencies to develop the infrastructure, to do little things in those communities. And this has gone a long way. Okay? I remember, and I'm diverging a little bit, I remember when we just started with this, they called us ministers of Tikanal. And this money has transformed every single community in St. Lucia. So let me take this opportunity also to thank the Taiwanese for that contribution. And let me continue thanking my colleagues because, and I keep saying that it is unprecedented, that colleagues who give up some of their allocations, okay? Colleagues, and this needs repeating, colleagues would give up some of their allocations to see to it that sports is developed holistically in St. Lucia. You should give yourself a pat on the back. You know, in so many instances, the allocations to constituencies were reduced when it comes to what we name the CDP. Okay? So, Mikud North, Mikud South, Denry, South, Soufre, and some other constituencies. The allocations were reduced. I would have loved that it would have happened on every constituency basis, but we will work on that. But you have come a long way. I should continue. And you are making facilities available to the entire country so that sports can be developed in a holistic fashion. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to support the Prime Minister as he presented the resolution for our Sports Infrastructure Program Development Initiative. And it must be automatic, Mr. Speaker. that we provide and support the youth of this nation without hesitation. And my colleagues didn't hesitate. The Prime Minister didn't hesitate. The Prime Minister said, this is what we are going to do. Okay? This is what we are going to follow. And we are getting it done today. So this is why I'm happy, Mr. Speaker. So, the genesis. How did all of this happen? And at times, I remember when the Prime Minister would call him and tell me, Estee, what's happening? Like, patience, Mr. Prime Minister. Patience. Because I knew for one, that would have been a very, very, very difficult thing to sell. So as I went, or as I brought in every single association, and we were planning, developing a strategy for the implementation of sports. As I met association by association, day by day I was thinking, boy, where are we going to get a consultant to sell this to the rest of the country? How would I sell this to my cabinet? How would I sell it? Little did I know that the Prime Minister was thinking on the very same line that I was thinking. And one day, all my troubles and worries were put to rest. When the Prime Minister said, I found the individual, Mr. Don Lockham. And that is how we're finding ourselves here. So I met all the associations, every single association, to tell them, put the best plan forward. Tell the ministry exactly what you need, what the plan is for you to develop sports on island. And at the end, we can take collectively every single plan that the associations have, and then we can make that master plan. Okay? We can make that master plan. And this is where we are at right now. This is where we are at. So Mr. Speaker, this is where we are. And in our commitment as a government and as a party, and we made the promise in our manifesto to the people of St. Lucia in 2016, and we declared, 1, providing and improving facilities in communities to mobilize them, to mobilize our young people through sports and other activities that will empower them. One of our goals. 2, use sports as a vehicle for encouraging a culture of teamwork, cooperation, and discouraging antisocial behavior. From our manifesto again. A third one, promote sports as a vehicle for employment creation, not only for sportsmen and women, but also for support services such as managers, trainers, doctors, sports media workers, among others. And then, last but not least, to upgrade existing facilities and provide new amenities in a phased approach. And this is what this resolution is about, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, this visionary phased approach to develop our sporting infrastructure for the next 5 to 7 years, and I have thought of this a lot. 5 to 7 years will take place in the first phase with the shovel-ready project, which we will go to in a little while. And then after that, we will look at the study-ready projects. So, Jesus constructed or created this world in 6 days, and on the 7th day, he rested. We will complete this in 6 years, and then on the 7th year, we will rest our case. So, my colleagues, we have 6 years. So it means that next general election, we shall return to this house to complete our task. Agree? So, Mr. Speaker, the Parker Company, as I just mentioned a while ago, we started deliberations with them in 2017. Okay? And sometime in May 2018, we were able to arrive at an agreement so that we can move forward and create the necessary facilities for our young people. And so, Mr. Speaker, in the first instance, as was mentioned by the Prime Minister, the Soufre Mini Stadium will be constructed or upgraded, because there are some facilities there. There's a grandstand there that we're still going to make use of. The Denry Sports Complex, the Mikud North Sports Complex, Mikud South Complex, and the Grozile School, which is the National Sports Academy. Mr. Speaker, the study-ready projects are those ready for immediate and further study for government in the near future. And then we will get to them in a little bit, and we will discuss them one by one. And we are talking about the George Odlum Stadium, the Dahe Mall, the Boshezu Sports Complex, the Mindo Philip Park Marshall Grounds Initiative, the VG Sports Complex, the National Sports Park at Cul-de-Sac. But I want to assure every St. Lucian that as we go along with our different projects, that those fields that we already have on island, those facilities that already exist on island, will be given some attention. Because as we discuss with the different associations, for example, for football, we said there will be zones on the island where we would have some major sporting facilities for football. And those facilities would be at a certain standard. Okay? These are the things that are discussed with the association. So Mr. Lockerbie and the Parker team have spoken to every single association. And if there's an association out there who has not met with Mr. Lockerbie, our apologies. Let's set up a meeting tomorrow, okay? So that we can meet with you and discuss the way forward in planning for your development and for the development of our young people. And so, Mr. Speaker, to take us to the level of world-class standards, the government of St. Lucia engaged the Parker Company, like I just said, in 2017. And so we arrived at an agreement in 2018. This company has tremendous expertise in developing sports facilities the world over and has been doing so for over 40 years. The Parker Company's fees, as it relates to that part of the resolution is only 20% of the fees, of the amount stated. Mr. Speaker, we have an integrated approach through meaningful dialogue and consultation. Like I said, we've met with every single association. In this regard, we have had several meetings and discussions with the associations, and anytime, any questions arise, when the packer company is on island, we meet and we discuss the way forward. So, at this stage, Mr. Speaker, let us go to the PowerPoint and for us to see exactly what is going to take place in the different constituencies. And as we transition, let me also state that as a government, we have come a very long way when it comes to our politics and sports. I have been tempted on so many different occasions to tell my colleagues we cannot, if we want to develop sports on island and if we want it to be holistic, we have to forget about that politics. We have to forget about that constituency get this and constituency get that mentality, and my constituency and your constituency and this and that mentality. And I'm happy that my colleagues have understood, and we are looking at this island as one island. We are looking at every constituency. We are looking at the bigger picture, the overall picture, and we are developing sports in St. Lucia holistically. Now, let me also mention that we did engage the packer company, and we were looking at the very big picture to have a program to develop a strategy for sports in general. Okay? But as our engagement with Packer went through, we soon discovered that we would have the Packer company develop sports infrastructure, okay? And then engage somebody else to do the other part of the strategy, which would be the policy side. And let me quickly report to this Honorable House and to every single St. Lucian listening or who's interested that as we speak, we have a gentleman by the name of Andy Bell, okay, and who has given us an initial report on that other aspect of our strategy, which is the policy side of things. And very soon, I know that both Mr. Lockerbie, Mr. Bell, and so on, there will be synergies, there will be integration, there will be discussions, okay, so that at the end, both the sports infrastructure strategy and the policy side of the strategy, we will put it together and have a one harmonious strategy for the development of sports in St. Lucia. So I'm holding in my hand, an initial report by Andy Bell, and which we have no need to make a document of the House now. I promise every St. Lucian that consultations are taking place as we speak, and very soon this document would be made available to all and sundry. And it is called Proposed Ideas and Initiatives for a Coordinated Approach to National Sports Development in St. Lucia. Okay, this is being worked on as we speak. And I like what is in there. I've had initial discussions with the gentleman. We are also trying to bring in somebody on the local side, with the individual, so that, all is not lost. So that there's continuity if anything should happen. Okay, so we are working on that. So, shovel-ready projects. And Mr. Speaker, The government of St. Lucia undertook an assessment of sports venues island-wide to determine the status and condition of sports facilities. And even before Mr. Lockerbie came through, I told you, well, I've told you before, not today, that when I became Minister of Sports, my first order of business was to carry out that inventory. I visited every sporting facility on island, and I got a sense for myself with a team of individuals from the ministry of the state of every facility on island. Okay? And I soon realized that when Mr. Lockerbie came on board, that the very same thing happened. This is what he did. He went and he took an inventory, visited every single sporting venue on island, again to make an assessment of what is happening with those facilities. Following this, the Packer Company was retained in May 2018 by the government of St. Lucia to develop a solution-oriented master plan to upgrade the facilities to world-class venues. Now, we do recognize that, and it has been spoken in this chamber, that not every single facility on island can be made world-class standard. And like I said, we looked at specific zones on island, and we decided, for example, for track and field, that maybe we need 4 tracks on island. And we discussed this with the association. We say for football, what we probably need is 8 major football grounds on island, okay, that have good lighting, fenced properly, all right, have stands so that you can collect revenue, all right. Those talks are still ongoing, all right, but we are in the process of constructing a few shovel-ready projects. Now, the Dennery field, if I should digress a little bit, I don't want I come to the end of my presentation or my time run out and I don't deal with this. The Dennery field, the Dennery football field, I should say, has been, you know, on a swing between the St. Lucia Labour Party government and the United Workers' Party government. And we have been trying to get a solution, you know, to get this field completed. And during my first term in office, between 2006 and 2011, a start was made. It was not completed. I was told by my then Prime Minister that, you know, we would start the fencing, and by the time we return into government, nobody expected us to lose the election. But we did. The government, that is. I won my seat. But we were in opposition. I was in opposition. Okay? I won my seat. Our party was in opposition. And during that time, when the young people of Dennery went to Mr. Sean Edwards, who spoke here, or the member for Dennery North, sorry, Mr. Speaker, who spoke here earlier on, and who presented himself, maybe like a Peter, who built a church. That church is in Dennery, by the way. He claimed, so the people went to him, and he told them, what he told them was that, I'm not going to do anything for you. I am not going to do anything for you. If I do anything for you, if I fix your sporting facility that will make Estephan look good. Imagine that. And I've spoken about that before. And this is the same person today who are talking about their concern about the young people. Looking at color. And I've also said this before, when you do something in a constituency, you're not doing it for me. If I do something in a constituency, I'm not doing it for myself. As a matter of fact, I will do everything that is good, and I will forget immediately that I did it. Because I didn't do it for myself. Okay? Now, this is somebody who Pat. This is somebody who came into politics realizing that I was on a good path. This is somebody who stayed outside in the secondary school in Dennery and realized, boy, what Estephan is doing for his people is good. I should go into politics too. And he said that openly to all of his friends. And he also said that the way that this man is behaving, he cannot lose election. He said all of that. So what I do it for my people. As Minister of Sports, I want St. Lucia to benefit from the development of sports. It's not about me anymore. I run, all my races before. The only thing I run now is politics. I'm not in sports anymore. I'm in sports. The sports that I'm in is to develop the young people of St. Lucia. The sports that I'm in is to develop St. Lucia as a sporting destination. The sport that I'm in right now is to make sure that we have world-class facilities in St. Lucia. The sport that I'm in now is to make sure that all our young people benefit from what we do as politicians. This is my sport. So it's not about me. I have been looking good from time immemorial. So, Mr. Speaker, these guys are not for the young people of St. Lucia. They are not.
Honorable member.
The members opposite, Mr. Speaker. They are not for the benefit of St. Lucia. They are not. And they come here pretending. They come here deceiving. Yes. Let me tell you what they do. Yes. They know that some members of the media are on their side and will print and will showcase all the lies that they say. So they come here, they say it anyway.
Honorable member.
But they are lies, Mr. Speaker.
We are not supposed to, as honorable members, describe our fellow colleagues as telling lies, whether it's in this house or otherwise.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well.
So they come here, Mr. Speaker, and they deceive our people. They come here, Mr. Speaker, and they pretend. And so, knowing that whatever they portray that is so wrong will be broadcast on some media houses. And this is so wrong. This is so bad for our development. And so, Mr. Speaker, let me go to slide number 2. So, we'll go through them very quickly. I think it's not working. So, this slide shows a map of St. Lucia. Okay. So, Mr. Speaker, the government of St. Lucia, guided by the Packer Company, has offered a solution guide towards fundamentally improving and upgrading 3 to 4 sports facilities in every constituency. This may total 40 to 70 modernized, sustainable venues down from the existing 150 existing facilities. And as I get there, Mr. Speaker, I also need to say to the general public, to every St. Lucian out there, that if you are working on a master plan, if you are going to decide what you do with certain facilities, if you are going to decide how you maintain certain facilities, there had to be a general pause on what you do generally. And so we took a step back and we were examining what was taking place on island. And the solutions have been found in terms of how do we maintain our sporting facilities. And we as a cabinet discussed that the best way for us to do this on a sustainable manner was for us to put this in the hands of local government. That every open space in St. Lucia is in the control of a local authority. And so the Prime Minister, in his wisdom, placed in local government $100,000 for each authority so that the open spaces on island could be maintained, what we can call, in a lot of instances, playing fields. And so the major ones, like the Darren Sammy, Viewfort, Mindo Philip Park, would remain in the hands of SSI. We also included one caveat in that, and the cabinet conclusion states that as the capacity of SSI improves and we develop more facilities of a certain standard, then SSI would be in a position to take control of the management of those facilities. So we are looking forward. And so I've always said that on island, the club's capacity needs to be improved, the association's capacities need to improve, and I even told the association that the ministry's capacity needs to be improved to be able to deliver for the young people. And we are working on this all around. And so, Mr. Speaker, these projects would be spread throughout the nation. Even if right now we can see that the 4 constituencies aligned are in the constituencies of sitting MPs, we will decentralize because we are doing a holistic development of sports facilities on island. So a lot of facilities will be touched, especially in phase 2. What we plan to do at cul-de-sac is not in a constituency of a sitting government official or government parliamentarian. All right? And that's just an example. So the next slide shows a list of the 6 shovel-ready projects for 2019. Okay? Soufrière Stadium, Soufrière Ruby Estate Cricket Ground, Dennery Sports Complex, Micoud North, Micoud South, and the St. Lucia Sports Academy. The next one, the Soufrière Stadium, individualized now. Now they say, Mr. Speaker, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So just imagine without this beautiful photo, if I had to sit there, stand there, and talk about this. You probably wouldn't even understand me. But here it is, Soufrière in its glory. When this thing is completed, this is what it's going to look like. Soufrière. The current planning is to transition this facility into the temporary and de facto national stadium for football and athletics. Now, talking about artificial turf grounds. Before, we went on a tour previously, myself, the minister from Soufrière, the representative from Soufrière, and the rep for Grosile. as part of the team. And before that tour, I was thinking Dennery should have natural grass. I was going to keep natural grass in Dennery. But going on that tour, visiting the facilities, talking to the coaches at the different venues, talking to the athletes at the different venues, I realized that if I do not put this in Dennery South, and then the other constituencies have that, the Dennery people would kill me. And I do not want to die. So Dennery also is going to get an artificial turf field. I made the decision for you, Dennery. This is what you put me in the house for. So the additional components include sports courts, both indoors and outdoors, swimming pool, playing ground and seating, and hospitality areas. And as we go from constituency to constituency, as those places are developed, you know, these are the kind of things that will happen. 5-on-5 football fields will be developed. And we see the models, we saw the models as we visited the different places over in Miami and Atlanta. Next slide. Soufriere Ruby Cricket Ground. And they say everything happens for a reason. And the young people, or the people of Soufriere, you know, they're very passionate about their cricket, and they said, boy, if we will not be able to play cricket at the stadium, where will cricket be played? And we have a very quick thinking representative for Soufriere. He went to work immediately, and this is what we came up to. And this will be funded by that same program. So the new cricket ground will be developed at Ruby Estate with additional components such as sports court and potentially a swimming pool if not located at the stadium. All right, this is where the pool comes in. So that's it for Soufriere. Next, we go to Dennery. We're getting back there. Soufriere, then Dennery, in that order. So, additional components for Dennery. The Dennery sports people already know what they're going to get. If I say tonight they're going to get a big surprise, it will not be a surprise. But they will. Small football 5-on-5 fields, sports courts for basketball, netball, and volleyball, playground, fitness area, and hospitality areas. Dennery is blessed. Side by side, one football field, one cricket field. Everything in the same vicinity. The schools, the recreational facilities, the educational facilities, a blessed area. This is an untouchable area. No matter how many containers of sporting equipment that went to my opponent in the next election can't touch me. And they say they cannot find 1 cent of money that were misappropriated, not $1. If you take containers of goods from the National Lottery and you give it to your running mate or your colleague in an election, this is misappropriation. That this is not what the money was supposed to have been spent on. And he will be found. The member for Dennery North will be found when the time is right. Next one, we're quickly moving from Dennery, and we're going to Micoud North. And the member for Micoud North has told you how happy she is. I love Miku too, you know, Madam Rep. Miku North will serve as a medium-sized sports park with new football pitch, new outdoor courts, and a 25-meter swimming pool, fitness area, and machines and hospitality areas. Miku. If you drive down that highway towards the airport right now, what you see, you will not like it. And I know for a fact that next year, your sight will be glorified as you take a drive to the airport. So we will change the face of Miku with the facility. So ladies and gentlemen, Miku North. Miku South. Miku South in Deriso will serve as the small sports park with small football pitch, outdoor court, a playground, a fitness area, and a hospitality area. This is somewhere I played a lot of football when I played football. And I remember scoring a lot of goals on that field. If the field is there already, it will be modernized. It will be brought to a certain standard. Okay? It will be like the Prime Minister of Miku. Next one, the Grozile Secondary School National Sports Academy. Or some people say the School of Excellence for Sports. Grozile Secondary School will begin transitioning into the new St. Lucia Sports Academy. A boarding school for elite athletes from all sports. But let me just say this. This is not something that is just going to just happen overnight. We are just starting this, so it will take us a little time, okay, for us to have all the different sporting disciplines involved in this, okay? So maybe when we start, there will be 2 sports associations contributing or having athletes there. And then, you know, we will grow it gradually. As a government, we are looking at possibly having about 4 of these on island. Okay? So the talks are still ongoing as it relates to academies in St. Lucia. So persons competing for St. Lucia national teams at the highest levels and so on will be housed at these academies. And the immediate improvements will include the immediate improvements. That's where some of the money will go. Small 5x5 football pitch, 60 meters athletics sprint track as a straight track. Who knows? We probably will give it 2 or 3 lanes, you know, just to practice. Indoor and outdoor sports courts, cricket nets, running trail around the property, fitness area with machines and sports medicine station. And then we go to the next phase, which will be the study ready projects. Let me also mention before we head there that there are lots of other grounds on island that when it comes to maintaining or maintenance of and so on, that we will be giving some attention to. sports is, or even facilities, maintaining facilities is a dynamic thing. So, you know, as the member for Miku North spoke, he said something to the effect that he will not receive anything, or he will never receive anything. But that is not so. Kaswiznov, sorry. Kaswiznov. He said he will never receive anything. But that this is a very good area, in my opinion, for us to place an artificial turf, football turf. Very, very good area. This field is used on a consistent basis, like every day. And so the people in that area can, you know, will benefit a lot if they have that service. Now this is a good place too, for that place to have proper lights for the young people to recreate at night. This is the Castries area. Everybody's at work. Okay? And so at nights would be the time for them to go out there and recreate and play the football and so on. At Laclery Field too, I played a lot of football in that area. So it is a small field, but it is a good field. If we can improve it and make it, you know, more user-friendly. So if we can use it and make it more user-friendly.
Honorable member, please be advised you have 15 minutes in which to complete.
I'll only take 5.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Speaker, places like Mabuya Valley, okay, there's something good going on there. I think we need to enclose this area, put a fence around it, so that revenue can be collected there. And there are some other fields on island that we need to do that too. Okay? So, the study-ready projects. The following 8 projects have been recommended as the initial study-ready projects. Okay? Mabuya Valley FIFA Goal Project is the first one. Planning lights, grandstands, scoreboards, development of the adjacent field with potentially an athletics track. George Odlum Stadium. The stadium has essentially been condemned for nearly 10 years, and as we construct the St. Jude and we get back hold of this facility, then we will be able to go back in there and do what is necessary for the young people of St. Lucia. Therefore, a solution is underway to plan upgrades and new sports venues in downtown Vieux-Fort. It is envisaged that the Masnek Ground and George Odlum Stadium should be integrated in the final recommended solution for the South. The BOSL Sports District, BOSL. Planning is underway for that. An additional aquatics complex is planned. The tennis center would have indoor courts added to it. Sports dorms would also be added for athletes and team housing. Quickly, the Mindo Philip Marshall Ground. That might be a contentious area, but this is something that we need to discuss as a nation and find a solution for the young people of that area. These 2 historic venues are long overdue for a major upgrade. The entire complex will be studied to give Castries the best possible multi-sports complex. And I personally have recommended turning this area into a track and field stadium, okay, where you can also play football. Cul-de-sac National Sports Complex. And we have seen before, you know, all that can, and we have shown before at the sports awards, etc., all the possibilities. And I believe, you know, we are studying this and we are trying to find out what's the best we can do. And finally, if the government will agree that this is the best use that we're going to put these grounds toward. And let me just go through a short list. As the park is established, there will be venues for football, athletics, swimming, indoor sports arena for basketball, boxing, volleyball, netball, tennis, cycling, cricket, rugby, motorsports, and an expanded national sports academy. The second, with hotels, offices, playgrounds, and restaurants. So this is the overall plan, Mr. Speaker. And then in the years after that, we will have another set of study-ready projects where other venues will be examined. I must say that, and I have commended my colleagues for putting sports first and their constituencies second. I mean, this in itself is applaudable. And colleagues, I want to thank you for understanding. I want to thank you for realizing that what we do in sports as a government can take us to the next frontier. What we do for our young people will significantly improve their lives. When we have all these activities, when we integrate what we do in the development of these facilities with the requisite programming, then St. Lucia will be a beautiful place to live, play, and die in. Eventually, all of us must. Live, play, and work. Eventually, we'll go to Madam Minister. So, Mr. Speaker, at this juncture, I want to thank you for your indulgence. I want to thank the Prime Minister, for being so strategic in his thinking. I want to thank all my cabinet colleagues for participating and for realizing that we need to, as a government, be all encompassing so that we can develop sports on island on a holistic manner so that every single St. Lucian benefit at the end. So I want to wish my constituents season greetings and a joyous and prosperous new year. Okay, may the good Lord continue to bless our beautiful nation. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.